What's going on, guys? Bladezilla here, and today we're taking a look at a pretty unique offering from Shirogorov. This one actually just came down the pipe and was released just the other day. And I'm telling you, if you like murdered out, blacked out, silhouette style knives, no pun intended, the Shirogorov Quantum Silhouette is certainly for you. So this is what we got to talk about today. Pretty cool little modification on a classic Quantum Ursus, and as you can see, lots going on. Really cool knife. So sit back, relax, grab yourself a beer, coffee, whatever it is. We're gonna have a coffee shop style conversation, but this coffee shop, I guess, could be serving wine or beer. As a reminder, check out bladezilla.ca. That's my site in Canada. A lot of cool stuff on there. Just added these black F3s, which are more dark purple. Some Kunwus, obviously. Some still got an F3 left. The CCKS knife, really cool knife in Magna Cut. And you know what? Because I just took pictures of it, not even 2 minutes ago. There's your F3 that was in the photo shoot anyway. They're calling this black. Pretty cool. It's like really dark purple. The light's going to hit it and brighten it up, but nonetheless, super cool. I will probably film a video on that one at some point here, because I am trying to get a video of all of them before they're discontinued. They seem to be kind of doing low quantities, different color releases, really cool. But anyway, we're not going to go into details on that. We want to look at this knife today, which is the, I guess, a new take on the Quantum Ursus. And the main difference being, can we tell? Bueller? It's all black in the Cerakote. So, you know, you get all the same features of a standard Quantum Ursus. You know, I believe it's a Chromax blade. Haven't actually read the literature on this one, but I believe it's a Chromax blade. It is a multi-row bearing, Ursus as well. So multi-row bearing being their high-end production bearing system. And then from that, they're basically just, you know, it's a full tie handle. It's made by, I believe Recon 1 is actually kind of vetting the individuals who they're modifying these knives. And I use the word modifying loosely because it's all Shirogorov approved, is my understanding. And they're just kind of coming up with some designs and detail work that you typically don't see, or, you know those conversations that maybe we have on this channel in here, or maybe you and your buddies have a conversation over a beer or over, on a long walk on the beach. I'm joking, obviously, but if you're having those conversations with your buddy, great. But those types of conversations where you go, hey, you know what would be really cool? If Shiro did this. And this is kind of what I think the whole purpose of this Recon 1, custom program is they're taking a knife that, is a great seller. We sell an absolute ton of these here at Bladezilla, and they're just kind of reimagining them and giving them a little bit of a spin on a classic to kind of reinvigorate some conversations perhaps, or to, just try something new. So, where do we begin on this? Well, I've done videos on Quantum Ursuses in a number of different configurations. They're all over the channel. The main thing here is they're calling this the Silhouette because it's all black. All black everything. It's, other than that lock bar insert, which is interesting, but makes sense because it's a wear item. The Cerakote kind of vibe, isn't for everyone. Let's make that loud and clear. But I have some very good friends who, they will look at this and right away, be all excited because all black, everything is their jam. And, for me, I've talked about this on the channel. My go-tos are typically plain Jane, titanium, with a little bit of funk into them, sometimes a clip or some, pivot collars, etc. To some people, blacked out like this is their thing. And it's unfortunate that, Shirogorov typically likes to kind of go more up my alley. And I guess some new school train of thought would be, hey, let's just do full black. Not inlaid black. Let's just take titanium, let's Cerakote it, make it all black, murder it out, midnight. And that's what this is. And it's just different. The only other thing that I've kind of seen come close to this is I've had some, you may have seen them, Reconnaissance 1, which is a Riot-made Recon 1 house brand, I believe, but they're calling it Reconnaissance 1 as a brand. Super, super sick knives. I think those things are flying so far under the radar. They're basically little mini Shiros made by Riot, let's be honest. And I believe they've done a full PVD, black on black, which was just deadly. So, so sick. I may have one. I'd have to look. I just brought in a bunch of them maybe a couple weeks back. And I'm everyone who's got that knife, the Adzin Flipper, is just like, how are these things not completely sold out everywhere online? Like, they're so well done and cheap, which is awesome too. But they made one that was black on black. But this guy is Cerakoted. So let's, I guess, do some measurements. I'm probably 5 minutes already past where I usually am in the video. I'm just kind of running my mouth. And there will be people on the channel. Let's move that cutting board. There will be some people on the channel who are new. Maybe this is their first ever Shirogorov video. So I always try to keep that in mind for the most part when I'm talking about this stuff. So we'll start with measurements, do a weight, and then kind of go from there. So we're coming in at a little over 8 3/4, maybe a little under 8 7/8, somewhere in there overall length. Blade length of about 4 inches. And handle, what do we got here? 4 3/4, is that about right? So take all those measurements, add an error factor, and you're pretty darn close. We're gonna get, because I am curious which version of the Quantum Ursus they actually modified. I haven't looked inside of it, but I have a sneaking suspicion I know. So, ooh, smooth. Okay, any guesses on weight? I don't think the Cerakote adds a whole lot, but if anything, should be low 4s. 4.3 ounces. Is that what we're getting? Zeroed? 4.3 ounces, great. Not bad at all. 4.3 ounces, that's a good weight for an everyday carry with that 4-inch blade at this price point. For an Ursus, right, which is their machine ground blade, keep that in mind. Every blade in that line is machine ground versus everything else in Shirogorov is hand ground. Or, actually I shouldn't say, I don't know if it is hand ground or hand finished. I don't know what the ruling is on utilizing either term. But anyway, so everything on it, the titanium frame, the titanium pocket clip, which down here is bananas, looks great. I think these came out a lot better than people were probably expecting them to. They look factory done. Everything's black Cerakote, so even the hardware, the screws, the blade obviously. Internally, we're going to take a look inside, and yes, it is the variant that is all milled out. So it is internally skeletonized as well, and I'm not too sure if this is going to be able to pick up, just because it's black and the camera might freak out a little bit, but let's find out. Oh yeah, okay, we're getting a little milling pockets in there. There, you can kind of see it there. So pockets on the inside of that lock bar, that's always a lighter mill out. And then on the other side, big chunks of milling. No backspacer, more of just a pin there, which is fine. Standoff, and it too also. There you go, full black, all black, everything. It appears to be a bit of a fingerprint magnet, which I guess anything that has that kind of flat nature to it tends to be a DLC, and even polished DLCs. Oh my God, that's even worse. So they will attract some fingerprint, but they will be pretty tough as well. And let's not kid ourselves, guys, okay? This is still a Shirogorov. It's still a work knife. It is a heavy duty knife. It's built for abuse. It is their Ursus line, which, you know, people use and abuse all the time. I carry a, in this side, I actually carry a Quantum Monkey Edge frag, which is right here, which is also in the Ursus line. And this guy now is, I think, 2 years old. And there you go. It's still sharp, beautiful, very little wear on pocket wear, and I've had great luck with it. So we'll show a couple comparisons. I've got some other knives here to kind of show if it is your first Shirogorov video. it is always nice to kind of have some comparisons. Some familiar, some unfamiliar, hopefully. So we'll do the Neon, which is the entry-level size. I shouldn't say entry-level, it's the smallest size that Shiro does. It is kind of like a titanium flipper bug out, is kind of what I would say. This is mine. As you can see, it's got some nice wear in the pocket, and I tell you, people ask all the time, hey, what's your favorite Shiro carry? I probably get a message every other day, in one way or the other, an email or Instagram or wherever, and the answer is all of them. I carry Stellars, Neons, F95s, Quantums, Quantiums. They're amazing, and each size is a little different. So for me, when I don't know what I'm doing, or say I'm wearing a suit, or more dressy stuff, then maybe I'll throw a Neon in. It takes up a little less space. Don't know what you're doing, but it's tough to fault an F95, which I will shoot that out of the picture and show the F95, which is basically a quantum size knife. It's almost identical. Just different profile in the flipper tab, I would say. And when you want to carry an F95, something a little bigger, a little more heft, and it's also great to carry them as well. So like as I mentioned, if it's your first video on a Shirogorov, their blade length, don't be blinded by the size of it. That's what she said. It's how they've used it. Also, that's what she said, in that it fits in the handle really, really well. And they're thin profile knives. Like, they just don't carry huge. Like, I've got much shorter, stubbier knives that take up way more pocket real estate than the Quantum or the F95. So don't let that kind of fool you off, because remember, Shiro's F95 it's basically their large Sebenza of their entire lineup. It's their classic. So it's what they've kind of grown off of and branched off of and made in Neons and 111s and Stellars and all kinds of stuff. So there you go. Speaking of Astrum, which I realized I just didn't say, I meant Stellar. There you go. There's your Astrum. Thinner, longer, a little bit longer. High-end production knife as well. But you're seeing a lot of the same characteristics in that blade grind, profile, the sweep, right? Great knife. I don't know if we want to go into the high-end fancy stuff today, but we're going to. Compared to a strip, there you go. That's really, I just did a video on this one not too long ago, and love that knife. So cool, really, really chunky. It's called the Fat Strip. It's got a 5mm thick blade, and I've got a whole hour-long video on this, so please check that out. But big chunky blade, really cool, unique grind on it, but really thin at the bottom, all Magna Cut. Amazing knife. Multi-row bearing, Mickey Mouse style multi-row bearings. We've got the Bio. This one is a Bio Dark. Another Sinkovich collaboration with Shirogorov. Also really, really cool. And we're just walking through some sizes. Put that back in the case. RJ Martin Russian Overkill as well. Also super, super sick done. And full tie. This one needs to go to a spa because some of the hardware is a little bit not ideal. And I'll do that at some point here. We've got the Russian Laksa. I also did another video which was, I think, close to an hour on that one. And of this exact knife as well. So check that out. Also a really cool knife that you're not seeing them for sale right now. Like the first couple weeks, there are a few were popping up here and there, but once again, I think they're starting to climb back up, which is awesome. And then I'll grab a regular Quantum Ursus. This is an inlay version to give just kind of some comparisons of what this knife would look like without an inlay, which is more perspective than anything, and it's always kind of cool to see how the modifiers modify. And the reason I want to say at the start of this video, hey, I wonder what version of this knife they modified, is because if we look at the inside of this, it's not nearly as skeletonized. They make a full tie variant, which I've got a handful of them up behind me, but I'm not going to open them. They're on the site right now, and they are just plain Jane tie Ursuses, and they're modified, or not modified, they're all skeletonized and multi-row bearings, whereas this guy is single row bearings and a little cheaper of an option, but really cool knife nonetheless. This is my personal one. And then I wanted to do some Sebenzas, just to, if you're new, always thinking of you guys. So there's your large Sebenza for size comparison to a Quantum. And remember, Quantum, F95, basically the same thing. 95 being the millimeter of the blade length. So, you know, large Sebenza, really classic size comparison. I'm not going to get into in the smaller stuff. I do have a Zahn hiding here somewhere. I'll do just very similar, but also kind of in that same burly, kind of cool category. So there's your Zahn. This one is a S45 VN variant with non-glass blast. This is, I think, the cheapest variant they made at one point. And I'm still trying to find a glass blasted MagnaCut Zahn, if anyone has one floating around. I think those are pretty cool. I guess I could just get this rebladed for $100. And I don't know if they glass blast the factory as an add-on, but anyway, it's may as well just buy one. So anyway, pretty cool. And then we will do a Quantium as well, which once again is a G10 scaled Quantum Ursus. So it's a lot lighter. I think they're around 3.5 ounces, which is noticeable in hand. Still multi-row bearings, Shirogorov bear on the blade, which you can actually just see. I'm looking at it now. You can just see it under here. It's still on the blade, which is cool. So anyway, I think that'll be it for size comparisons. In hand, it's still the same knife. I don't believe they modified anything that I'm aware of. I think they just did a nice coating on it. You know, beautiful fit and finish on it. Fits your hand beautifully well. I've never had a problem with a Quantum. It's a great starter knife for a lot of people, and it's a gateway knife. Let's call it that. It's a gateway knife. And then when you get this Cerakote treatment, let's not kid ourselves. Is this not the knife that Batman should have on his belt somewhere? Like, I just don't know how he wouldn't carry a knife like this. Full black, everything. That grind. You can hopefully see the bear hiding right up here. It's just a little bit hidden, but it's there. Which begs the question, do we have Chromax written on the other side in hiding in plain sight? Let's take a look. Focus, focus. Similar, it's under there, but just hiding. And then also I love how they obviously kind of sharpen that blade and put a little edge on it and don't just leave it raw with Cerakote. So that's a nice little touch. So who's this for? Well, I think it's, I don't see this being a knife that someone brand new to the brand is going to pick up. Like if you're, you know, you can get a Quantum Ursus full tie for a couple $100 less, and they are absolutely killer, right? I see these knives, just based on how rare they are at this point in time, I do know how many they made, and there's not many. I'm telling you that for certain. I'm not going to get into that, but who knows? Reason being, they may make more, and at some point down the line here, you know, I'm filming this in February, late February 2025. I just never know if all of a sudden they launch a bunch of these, and here I am claiming how rare it is, when in fact maybe there's more coming. I don't know, but based on today, at the time of filming this, there's really not many of them. I'm being totally honest with you, and I'll leave it at that. In terms of how well they did, it looks factory, it looks OEM. We all know Cerakote is tough as nails and is a really sought-after finish, so it's going to be a great user. I expect the person who buys them to be probably an experienced Shiro guy that just wants something unique, something different, something a little blacked out, a little wacky that is completely different from what Shirogorov does themselves, yet they love the design of Shirogorov, they love the execution. Oh, I'm burping up some coffee. Execution of the knife, and you know, it's just you're not gonna see these on a trade show floor ever. Like, no one's gonna be, you know, there's gonna be lots of production knives, etc., in people's pockets, that kind of stuff. But you pull one of these out, you're at this point in time much less available than even custom division knives, than even show knives. So really, really cool in that regard. Fully skeletonized, multi-row bearings, Chromax blade, Everything black, all black everything except your lock bar slash over travel stop, which is hiding under there. Which also, is it black under there? Or is that, I'd love to know if they might have just left that piece alone. That would make a cool picture. Might have to do a little Instagram thing on that. That'd be fun. So that's the knife. You know, like I said, I've talked about this knife many times on the channel in different configurations. It's a clear-cut winner. People love them. Super smooth action, and you really can't go wrong. And the fact that it's Cerakote is just gorgeous and cool in its own nature. So I think I haven't checked, but I imagine they sell out of these right away. And just look at them. I can't see why people aren't going to fall in love with this knife. It's just so well done. So there you go. I don't have a whole lot else to talk about on this one today. It's cool. It should do well. I'm just curious more than anything. Like if we're just talking like a couple of kids, you know, the whole Recon 1 R1 custom shop, it to me is really opening the door of, you know, what they're going to do with, you know, third-party modified, warranty-approved Shirogorov stuff. And conversely, let's pull Shirogorov off this conversation. What does that mean for other brands? Are we going to see some custom shop, you know, Koenigs maybe, or some Chris Reeves? Just look at their line. Like, those are the relationships they have with vendors, and they've always done some really cool pieces. And I'd be curious to see what else they're going to do. It doesn't always just have to be full Cerakote black on black. Could be all kinds of stuff. You know, the conversations that I was referencing earlier about, like, hey, it'd be cool if X brand did this. That's the kind of conversations they're having with those vendors, I imagine. So who knows what that turns into over the next month or 2 or 5 or 10 or whatever that is. I'm really excited, and very fortunate that I was able to get my hands on one of these, because you know, I love Shirogorov. I'm not hiding that. I think it's my favorite brand in the business right now, and I think it's so cool to get a unique Shirogorov through any time, whether it's a custom division, a full custom, special edition, a collaboration piece, etc. So I'm always grateful to see that. And now that I look at it, we've got one more spot that does not have Cerakote. Bum bum bum, but it makes sense. It's a high wear area, so kind of important. Pretty cool. Okay, and also the black on black Bane mask also is pretty sick on this too. How cool is that? Wicked. Well, I'm going to leave you guys there. I don't want to go too crazy on this one today. I'm probably at 20 minutes. I was hoping to be at 10. I apologize. I just wanted to show the knife, have a quick conversation about it, talk about the program of the custom shop, and speculate on kind of what we might see coming down the pipe with this Silhouette Quantum in black. I think the key there too is in black. You know, I'm curious if we're going to see other colors as well. Like, would they do other colors? I don't know. Any ideas, guys? Like, if you have comments or feedback on other color configurations or ideas, or just things that you would love to see, I would love to read through it and just get my juices flowing a little bit as well on what are some of the options out there, because it's just cool, right? It's a conversation first and foremost. We're all passionate about this stuff and we love it, so this is what makes this hobby so fun. Okay, if you haven't already, throw a thumbs up on the video, like, whatever. Subscribe every Monday and Thursday morning at 7 a.m. Eastern. I've got a video for full length. And then TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. I think that's it. YouTube. That's kind of where we got our start, is YouTube. So thanks for watching and checking out a really cool knife. And if you have any questions, leave them below. And until Thursday, I guess, we'll see ya. Peace, guys.